Turnaround teams, let's get it. The Anaheim Angels have looked like they're a team in position to make a turnaround this year. Of course, their division is a bit tough, but they should be fine. Honestly, I think their division might be a little bit over-exaggerated in terms of its toughness, but that will come at a later date, the bigger discussion of that. For the Angels, they did add some protection with Justin Bourne. Now they have 5 hitters in their lineup instead of just 4. But they also shored up their bullpen with Cody Allen and added to their rotation with guys like Trevor Cahill and Matt Harvey. Honestly, those are very risky additions, especially Matt Harvey. Trevor Cahill only had like 2 good months. He wasn't that good outside of O.Co last year. So we'll see on that front, but they do have a new coaching staff, and that should give them a little bit better success because the shelf life of their coaching staff should keep them competitive for at least the next year. At least the next year they should be competitive for that. So we shall see how it turns out for them. This is the sexy pick to be a turnaround team. I sort of hinted in my previous video on this series that this is a team that I wouldn't put in the surprise teams category because people are expecting them to turn around, so they're more of a turnaround team. But when it comes to their team, their hitting core is already underrated. They already have guys like Suarez and Votto and Jeanette. They have some really good hitters in their lineup. Votto was a bit injured last year, but he should still be a guy that gets hits and gets on base, so that should help him out. They're also pretty flexible at second base with Jeanette and Senzel, so that should help them out as well. And another thing is that they have some really good starting pitcher additions with Tanner Roark, Sonny Gray, and also Alex Wood. I think that Alex Wood will have a bit of a bounce back. I mean, he wasn't that bad in the regular season last year, so we'll see how that goes for them, but I think that their starting rotation will be improved, especially with this main factor, the fact that they hired one of the best pitching coaches in the game, Derek Johnson. He did some really good things for the Brewers last year. If you look at their rotation, you wouldn't suspect that that would be a team that would get you to Game 7 in the NLCS with a rotation no matter what the hitting core was, but it did. So Derek Johnson, really good pitching coach, and he has more talent, in my opinion, in Cincinnati at starting pitcher than he did in Milwaukee, so it should end pretty well, especially because he did work with Sonny Gray in Vanderbilt, so that should work out for the Reds. And they're in for a turnaround season. At least that's what they're looking right now. Oh, and I forgot, they did add to that hitting core that I said was already underrated with guys like Yasiel Puig. And they have a little bit of depth with Matt Kemp. So, looking like a team that could turn around. This is a team that's a bit hard to trust. I was bullish on them in 2017 a little bit. I didn't think they would win that wild card. I thought the Cardinals would beat them out. But last year, I wasn't in on them because they just had no depth and I just really wasn't sold on them at all. But now their issues are fixed. Their hitting looks better with guys that they added, and their depth looks much improved, at least when it comes to their position player depth. They also fixed their bullpen with guys like Justin Williams coming in and Edwin Diaz coming in as well. And they, in general, have a much easier schedule. They also brought back Jerry's Familia, but they have a much easier schedule. Instead of facing the AL East, they did face the AL East last year, but instead, they now face the AL Central, a much less tougher division to go against. So the Mets should be a team that turns around. I'd be surprised if they aren't a team that at least competes for a wildcard spot this year. Barring, of course, they have a lot of injuries to their rotation. And I mean a lot, because the rotation depth is still a little bit sketchy. This is also a team that's picked to be a turnaround team by a lot, because last year they really just were unlucky. They highly underperformed their Pythag win-loss, and in general they're a team that just added to what they already had with Patrick Corbin. They also added some depth to their hitting core, and they also have a couple of more reliable bullpen arms to go along with Sean Doolittle. So they're a team that's set in a good position if Harper leaves. At the time of this video, he still hasn't signed with anyone yet, so they're set in a good position as of right now to be a team that goes well. I'm not too fond of Dave Martinez as a manager, but I think with the talent that's on this roster, he shouldn't fail too badly like he did last year. So we'll see what happens, but I'm still not too fond of him. And so that's pretty much it for this video. It was a bit quicker this time because I wanted to get this out as quick as possible because I'm going to get to 30 teams in 30 days, and also before that I'm going to be getting into some content that previews what is to come with the 30 teams in 30 days series. Hopefully Harper and Machado signed by then, and also guys like Dallas Keuchel signed by then, because I really don't want to start that series with them not on rosters. I mean, I'm gonna be, if they aren't signed by then, I'm still gonna go through with it. It'll just be rosters based on what was there before that. I'll end up probably making different positions or different predictions right before March 28th, because that'll be, or right before the actual opening day, not just the Japan series between the A's and Mariners, which will be a 2-game set. So I'm probably going to change it because that's probably when Harper and Machado are going to sign, and also Keuchel will sign. Also, some teams make some moves after, or teams are probably going to make some moves after I do the 30 teams in 30 days series. So hopefully they end up signing soon, because this team, or because there's still it's taking too long. It's taking too long. That's the point. But that'll do it, and with nothing to lose, I'm setting myself up for slander in a couple of years.
That's out toward right center field. Going back on it is Zimmer. At the wall. Gone! Big fly,